Hi, everybody. Today I just want to come to you and honor a person that you probably have heard of, especially if you're a carnivore or ketogenic, or perhaps you've ever dieted in your entire life. Maybe you're pro him, maybe you're against him, but I just want to honor him today because he's one of the really key figures that has changed my life. Amongst many others, I've had many awesome mentors over the years in my faith. But this is a man that discovered something that had sort of been hidden for about 100 years. Not very many people knew about it, except for in the diabetes world, where this treatment was still being used until later on. The name of the man is Dr. Robert Coleman Atkins. He was a medical doctor. He was a cardiologist, and he had a weight problem, as many of us can identify with. What he discovered that was hidden was that carbohydrates were the problem. He wasn't able to metabolize the carbohydrates to keep his body healthy. And too many carbohydrates were causing his weight gain. So he made some dietary changes, excuse me. He made some dietary changes. He cut off the carbs. It's pretty simple, actually. Now, Robert was born October 17th, 1930, in Columbus, Ohio, in the U.S. He died at the age of 72, April 17th, 2003. Yes, he had some heart problems, but they were not caused by his diet. He had a chronic infection, and that's what was happening there. And his actual death had nothing to do with that. So he'd had some blockages, but they were not, well, they're significant, but that wasn't the issue. What killed him was slipping on the ice. Now, maybe you don't even know anything about ice. I live in Canada. I know ice. I don't like to go out when there's ice. I need to be so careful because you slip on the ice and hit your head like Dr. Atkins did, you easily could have a brain bleed and pass away from that. So he was very active for a very long time. And after he discovered and lost weight for himself, he tried to promote that. He had so much opposition. Anyone that's a pioneer in any field has a lot of opposition. He was out to make a change. Now, recently, I looked on my bookshelf and I picked up a book that I hadn't seen for a long time. This is it. One of the originals. This is a 1973 publication. He probably has about 25 books in total that were published. I've had, I don't know, at least a half dozen of them along the way. And as I reread it, I thought, everything that I'm hearing today, it's rooted back here. It is here. See, it's called Dr. Atkins' Diet Revolution because he had a dream, like Abraham Lincoln had a dream. But Dr. Atkins' dream was to change the world. And now we see so many doctors, so many individuals that have the same dream. Let's change the world with the things that we eat. Get off the processed foods, get off of that and get on to real food. Get on to the protein that you need, which is animal protein, is the proper human diet, as Dr. Berry would say. HomesteadHow, Kerry from HomesteadHow, he's doing a documentary on that, which is a documentary on carnivore. Wonderful people. Kelly Hogan, one of my heroes in the carnivore community. Dr. Lisa Weideman. We've got so many doctors out there. I couldn't name them all. Dr. Ovadia, who himself is a heart doctor. And that's what he uses to treat his patients. See, saturated fat isn't bad for you. It's actually good for you. What's bad for you is having elevated insulin. Dr. Bikman speaks into that. He's got a metabolic classroom every week on YouTube. Watch it, learn. Don't be ignorant. Don't be so stuck in your old paradigm. Don't be listening to the mainstream messages put out by the pharmaceutical companies that says, eat this, eat this, eat this. Look, it says heart healthy. No, they're deadly. They are going to keep you trapped in the world of pharmacology, that allopathy. That is not what you want. Or maybe it is what you want. Maybe you just want to be treated. Maybe you don't want to be healed. I can't answer to that. But Dr. Atkins, he had the key. So as I was reading through his book, I thought, wow, this is awesome. And this is what I followed to begin with as far as his eating plan. What did he say to eat? Go ahead and eat as much meat, the fat that goes with it, as much as you want, basically. Because after a while, you're really not going to overeat on that. He says it's okay to have some leafy greens. And you can even put over it mayonnaise. Of course, I would suggest that you make your own mayonnaise. Don't get into any seed oils because they're so high in omega-6s, they will destroy your body. They just hang on too long. Look at, I can't remember his first name, Knob, but he's got a great book out on that. And now Dr. Atkins, when I was on it, I was on induction. Induction was, I think it was 20 or 25 grams of carbs to start with daily. And he did allow for net carbs, so deducting the fibers off of it. But I would recommend, as one of his followers, which is Dr. Eric Westman. Great material out there on Dr. Eric Westman. And he actually wrote a book with Dr. Atkins at one point. He recommends under 20 carbs per day. And those are total carbs, not net carbs. The net carbs can be very, very deceptive. And you don't want to be deceived. See, the enemy, the devil himself, is out to deceive you. You don't want to be deceived. So let's look into what's actually true. Did you know that, well, from there, he does say that you can increase your carbs after a couple of weeks. And then when you get to a point where you're not losing weight anymore, drop them back down. He says a minor increase, possibly up to 5 grams a day. So you say, well, how will I know how many carbs are in my food? Well, if you want to get into that, you can get a tracker. There's lots of books that have trackers. One of Dr. Atkins' books actually does, not this one. You can go online. You can get an app on your phone if you want to track. But if you want to keep it just simple, I like simple. Just eat your meat with the fat that comes with it. Once again, Dr. Berry has a great way of eating out there called beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and he even throws in some fish if you want to have some fish along the way. But get out of the other stuff. Get out of the dairy, because that really, you can easily go overboard with that. The nuts can easily go overboard on that. Now, Dr. Atkins does allow both. And an interesting thing about dairy. Did you know that a percentage of the world, let me think about that percent, I believe it's around 30%, are dairy persistent. So the dairy persistent are those that are possibly from Northern Europe. About 80% of them are from Northern Europe. And then the rest are from either Africa or Middle Eastern. In other words, what that means is that they can metabolize the lactose that's in the dairy. The other thing with dairy, oftentimes you hear it said, you can't eat dairy, because we do know that dairy has casomorphins, and that will attach to the opiate receptors in your brain. It's going to give you a real calm, and you're going to go to sleep like a calf. It'll put you to sleep. Maybe that's why our mothers might have given us hot milk when we were a kid to go to sleep. At least that's what I had when I was a kid. So I thought about that, and that is true. But dairy is a problem more for some people than for others. Now, if you look at a calf, so dairy is meant to put the calf to sleep and get them all fattened up. That is true. But supposing you were a 150-pound calf or a 150-pound person, do you know how much dairy, 3.5% dairy, you would have to drink per day? You would have to drink 7.5 liters per day. So tell me, are you drinking 7.5 liters a day of milk? Maybe that's too much. Now, if you remove all the whey from the milk, what are you left with? You're left with the cream, the heavy cream. And many, many people can handle a little bit of the heavy cream. Dr. Westman recommends a couple of tablespoons if you want to incorporate that into your eating plan at all. And also with the cheese or fermented dairy. Now, when you have fermented dairy, that's a whole different story too, because then the fermentation process is going to eat up, the bacteria is going to be eating up a lot of the sugars that are in there, and you'll be left with a better product. So whether you do or whether you don't, that's entirely up to you. So I encourage you with that. I encourage you to kind of pursue what's best for you. And if I can, I don't know if I actually can because I don't have it on there. Screen share. Select a tab to share. It's on a different one. Hang on here. Let's copy that one over there. Yeah. Screen.
Small batch, naturally. If you're ready
Now
to
I'm
embark on a
hoping
low carb journey
that you
with the
can hear
Atkins
this.
Diet Phase 1, you're in for a treat. Today, I'll be sharing the ultimate food list for Phase 1 to help you jumpstart your weight loss goals. Let's get started. Phase 1, also known as the induction phase, is the starting point of the Atkins diet. It focuses on minimal carb intake to kickstart ketosis, a state where your body burns fat for fuel. Let's explore the foods you can enjoy during Atkins Diet Phase 1. Number 1. Proteins. Lean proteins are your best friends. Enjoy poultry, like chicken and turkey, along with beef, pork, and fish. Don't forget eggs too, they're versatile and satisfying. Number 2. Healthy fats. Embrace healthy fats. Load up on avocados, nuts, seeds, and extra virgin olive oil. They'll keep you energized and full throughout the day. Number 3. Non-starchy veggies. Fill your plate with non-starchy vegetables like leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, and asparagus. They're low in carbs and high in essential nutrients. Number 4. Dairy. Include full-fat dairy products like Greek yogurt, cheese, and butter. They add flavor and richness to your meals. Number 5. Beverages. Stay hydrated with water, herbal teas, and black coffee. Avoid sugary drinks and opt for unsweetened alternatives. As you embark on Phase 1, keep these tips in mind. If you found this information helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more health and nutrition.
Alrighty. So that was just a brief overview of Dr. Atkins' diet. Unfortunately, since that time, the Atkins company was sold in approximately 2007, I do believe. And at that point, it started to incorporate more products. So the products, as Joan Ifland would say, stay away. They're not good. There's nothing good in them. They were made to be addictive. You don't want to get into the products. Stick to real food. Eat your meat. And my motto is healing with meat and Jesus. We need meat. Our bodies need it physiologically. It has everything that you need as far as nutrients go. Ben Bikman will speak into that. We do not need carbohydrates at all. Our bodies are very able to create through gluconeogenesis, to create the 1 teaspoon of sugar that's needed in your bloodstream. And your brain actually functions better on ketones. Don't get into ketoacidosis. That's a whole totally different story, and it's got nothing to do with what you eat. So let's really look into it. Think about it. Pray about it. Ask God what you should do. If you're struggling with what you eat, if you're struggling with your mental health at all, if you're struggling with any kind of physical condition, if you have inflammation, I really encourage you to take a deep dive, a deep look into the ketogenic or carnivore diet. All right? Let's do it, guys. Let's get healthy for Jesus. You can do it. Anyone can do it. Fill your mind with truth, and God bless you all. Bye for now.